What has just happened in Nevada, in my opinion, is one of the most alarmingly and grossly underreported stories in many years. Federal agents, we don't know how many, but we know there were at least dozens, had guns drawn, pointed at civilian protesters. Civilian protesters, some who claimed to be members of the militia, had approached federal agents bearing sidearms. Members of the so-called militia from various areas made statements that they were not afraid to shoot federal agents. There was literally an armed standoff in broad daylight. ABC Evening News didn't cover it. CBS didn't cover it. NBC didn't cover it. CNN, in fact, go ahead and put up the CNN quote. Look at this headline. This makes me wonder if the people at CNN are mentally incapacitated. Clive Bundy's ranch, U.S. government ends Nevada ranchers' illegal cattle grazing. That's not what happened. That's the exact opposite of what happened. So this is outrageously sloppy journalism. The New York Times has not done a story on it. The Washington Post has not done a story on it. The Los Angeles Times has not done a story. I can't even find a story from the Associated Press. So as we go forward in today's program, I promise you that we have done everything we can to give you as many accurate facts as possible. Because as much as I have an agenda for life and liberty in this country, it's my duty as a broadcaster to have integrity, to bring you the facts. So let's begin with what a part of the statement that came from the U.S. Bureau of Land Management. Quote, based on information about conditions on the ground and in consultation with law enforcement, we have made a decision to conclude the cattle gather because of our serious concern about the safety of employees and members of the public. That was from Neil Corns, the director of the U.S. Bureau of Land Management. So, what we know for sure as we begin today's special coverage of an unthinkable powder keg, what we know for sure is this: the federal government backed down. Federal agents, armed agents, put it in reverse and backed up. They released all the cattle and they went home. Now, before that happened, it got pretty tense. Let's roll that footage showing the people approaching the law enforcement.
You're gonna have to arrest us all or shoot us all!
The crowd is now moving forward toward the barrier. The police have been telling everybody they are going to shoot if we don't move back. People are moving forward with their hands in the air, holding flags with both hands in the air. It's a mixture of people on foot, as you can see, people on foot and cowboys.
All right, so now I want to tell you, I have watched an awful lot of footage from cell phones on the ground because there has been very little good footage from professional media. I personally have not heard any footage of agents saying that they would shoot protesters. I'm not saying it didn't happen, okay? I'm not saying it didn't happen. Maybe somebody on one of their little speakers with those vehicles said, if you people don't get out of here, we're going to fire. I can't imagine that. I can't. But it is possible. It is possible. I just haven't heard it. What we know for sure is that it was a powder keg, and the loss of life, both of federal agents, employees, ranchers, law enforcement of what divisions we don't even know, it was a very likely possibility. And certainly there would have been the loss of life of civilians. We're going to look at a lot of things today. Who knew what this all means, what it means for the future. There's a lot here. We're going to show you footage of the federal agents tucking tail and leaving. This is, again, a grossly underreported story. And this story could have as much impact on us in the long run as Waco, the destruction of the Branch Davidian compound and the loss of over 70 human lives there, the horrific killing up on Ruby Ridge, where Randy Weaver's wife and his son were killed. What happened in Nevada could have as much of an impact on us as those two incidents, but perhaps in a very negative way. I'll explain more when we come back. This is the Voice of Resistance.